So as an overview, I think we know now that we need to prove a minimum amount of income overall average in a year, right?
Yes, but on a monthly basis, when you do the average, we are recommending more than 1,000 euros per month.
The more the better.
The more the better, of course.
Yeah.
Because, and it's important that everyone knows there is a lot of applicants nowadays, and it's so successful. Portugal has been so successful that clearly, and because there is a discretionary power, the more they can prove, the better.
Okay, so I have to prove that I make enough money, right, to sustain myself in the country, and I'm not going to become a burden, right? I need to prove that my intent to stay here is for a long period of time, long residency, right? At least the 2 years, I guess.
Yes.
They're asking for the duration of the visa.
No, not the visa. We didn't speak about the process, but the process when you submit, and you had it yourself, you submit all the paperwork, and when you get the approval, you will get that's what you got,
yeah.
a 4 month residency visa stamped. And then during those 4 months, you have an appointment that is already scheduled at the immigration during those 4 months. It can be, we never know exactly when during those 4 months will that take place. It depends. And so the second stage is already in Portugal when you go to the immigration and you get your resident permit card like you did for 2 years.
Okay.
That's the procedure.
So when I present all the paperwork, and this was my experience, I presented all the paperwork. They were actually very, very helpful and very quick. And within a month and a half, I got an answer.
Very good.
Very good. So I presented all the paperwork. They returned my passport saying you have now a visa for 4 months to finish the paperwork and the process with the interview in CEF, right? They scheduled it. I came to Portugal. I set myself up here in Madeira. And then I flew to the appointment, and that's when they give me the card saying you're a resident.
Yeah. I mean, you received the card a little bit later, like 3 weeks later usually.
Yeah, it was about that.
Yeah, more or less that time.
I mean, it's Madeira. Things take a little longer to get here.
Yes,
Yeah.
only that, but there are also positive aspects.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's it, and you get the 2 years, and you have your residency.
And I understand that then I can renew it. I would have to, I imagine, present the paperwork again, showing that I still comply with all the requirements.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more facilitated lately because there's a platform for renewals, and it's not that demanding as long as they. They know that you've kept, what you still having your own income, and you still, and you were not out of Schengen area without any justification most of the time. Then they will renew, and it's been especially now during the pandemic times and post-pandemic, it's been quite. Hasn't been difficult.
And I've seen it on the internet also marketed as a way to get a Portuguese passport. And I understand that after you renew it the first time, right? Because you get it, 2 years, you renew it, and then they give you three years.
Exactly.
Within that period of the 3 years, you can actually apply to get.
No, after. The D7, the D2, the other immigration programs, residency that are not the golden visa, we will talk about the golden visa later, is you get 2 years, then you renew it for 3. And then you can renew again for 3, which I totally recommend for 3, which is wonderful in terms of time. Why? Because only after five of residency, you are eligible to apply for citizenship. But citizenship applications, they are now taking around 30 months nowadays. It used to be 12 months, but with the pandemic and a lot.
Oh, that makes sense. You want to stay here without a problem.
And you need to be legally resident while waiting for your citizenship. So those 3 years.
Twice.
Yeah. So it's you get 3 years, right? So I do believe that in terms of time-wise, in terms of time frame, both G7 and D2 immigration programs they are very good. They are very well nowadays, especially because of this time that you will take, that is taking nowadays to get a citizenship approved. I don't know if you know that, but we had a program like Spain. We had a program, and we still have, from the Sephardic Jewish, it's a way Portugal and Spain asked again forgiveness for those who had to go out of the country back in the 16th century. and during a lot of time. So if they can prove that they originally, and they have a certificate from an association that is credible, and they can, prove that they have this origin and they have this certificate, they can apply for citizenship directly, or independently where they are, where they are from for centuries many times. And the amount of applications has been crazy. So that is also a lot of applications at the same time of those who are coming through other immigration programs. So at the moment, Portugal is facing a problem, in terms of staff and at the civil registrar, because there's a lot of, applications. People that are eligible to apply for citizenship, for Portuguese citizenship nowadays.
So as an overview of the D7 visa, I can apply from wherever I am a legal resident.
Yes.
Right? I present all the paperwork, and then I'm going to be given a visa for 4 months where I finish the process. I'm given the residency card, and that's when it starts to count the 2 years.
Yes.
Right? After 2 years, I renew for 3 years.
Correct.
After the 3 years, I have to renew once more.
Yes.
And
for
then
another 3.
Within the second period of 3 years.
Immediately, because when you renew for the second time, you already have 5 years. And because you already have 5 years, then you are eligible. You can start at the same time. So you renew your resident permit and you start the application for citizenship.
Well, that's very attractive.
Yes.
But I would like to touch on something that we previously just touched briefly. There are some of these requirements for the D7 that require that upfront commitment, right? Like opening the bank account.
Yes, having a residency.
Yes. And is that something that you're familiar with? And how easy or hard is it to do?
Do you know that the banks are now getting a bit, so the banks have this kind of agreement that they should only open for residents bank accounts, which doesn't match with the immigration programs. And we were talking about that with the biggest private bank in Portugal, exactly because we work a lot with them, they assist us opening bank accounts for clients. And so, yes, of course, they had to review, and they are still, but they will open bank accounts for those who are not resident, those who are willing to be resident. But one of the requirements that they now are demanding, which they didn't, was to formally complete. There has to be complete in a way that can be, completely ready, a bank account and being able to be used, etc. It's only after they transfer the minimum amount, the minimum 1 year minimum salary to the Portuguese bank account. Only after that will the applicant be able to use that money and use the bank account. So yeah, and they now are also, they were asking about insurance, doing a health insurance through the banks, but usually in Portugal that's what it happens.
Well, they did ask me a health insurance. I just got it on my own.
Yes,
it's not related
it's
to
not
anything.
through the bank.
Yeah.
Most of our clients, they tend to even go through the bank because it's easier.
It's like a package.
And it's like almost a
service.
package that they do, and they offer. It's one of the things that they are also demanding. It's something that they are, but that will be needed anyway for the application. So they will need to prove that they have private health insurance in Portugal, which I would recommend anyway.
And in order to be approved for the D7, then the money has to be already in Portugal.
Yes,
but
correct.
I'm already controlling that money, right?
Yes.
So what happens if I'm rejected? And
you
the
can
money's
bring
in
your
Portugal?
money back. Yeah, you can
All
transfer your money back. There's no problem.
And what happens if I make a 1 year lease, right? Because I have to make a 1 year lease. I get it approved, I move, and 2 months after I decide, no, I chose wrong. This is not a place I want to be and I want to move. Can I just move?
Well, you have agreement. You have to be careful with the agreement. Because of the rental agreement, you have to notify with 120 days, and depending on the length. So usually 1 year lease agreement will mean that you should use for 8 months.
At least.
At least.
All right.
So that's the regular.
But as far as immigration or CEF is concerned, if I want to move, I can move as long as I update my new address.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
And
so
we have many
because one thing is the lease agreement where I have to deal with my landlord, right? But another thing is I don't want to upset CEF, right? I don't want to make any dents in my what do you call it, your folder,
Mhm.
right? So if I don't want to have like a bad history with stuff, as long as I keep them updated to where
Yes,
I
you
am,
just have to
can
update and
move.
you can move. Of course, you can move in Portugal to wherever you want.
Yeah, I recently changed because of the tax information had an old address. So I recently did it. All online was actually fairly easy. I got it done within a week,
Oh, good.
and in just probably 20 minutes of my time online. So that was fairly easy.
Yeah, so it's not a complicated process.
Sandra, thank you very much for your time. This is a lot of information that is hard to get in just one place. So thank you very much. But I know that there's still a few things, maybe a lot of things, that we couldn't touch on, right? So if I was looking into Portugal right now and I was looking into D7, could you help me with that?
Oh, yes, definitely. And there is something new a new project in my life, I mean, that I think it's important is because I'm passionate about the immigration program and I love as a lawyer dealing with all the immigration issues and working with the team. But I found that there is more space or there is room for more information and a more complete service to those who are trying to come to Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was challenged by an American friend actually to develop this consultancy company. And the consultancy will be able to help not only on the, it will be like a one-stop shop from A to Z, helping and assisting all those who are willing to follow any immigration program in Portugal. And of course, all the legal part will be done through the law firm, but we will add some other services. And one of them that I found very important for the D7 is a concierge service. You know, getting all the support for those who are moving to a country and they don't know what to do, how to get things that they own into the country, how to get a driving license, who to contact to get the residency, and when they're trying to get either a lease agreement or to buy property later on. It's the idea is to be able to assist the client in all the client's needs, not only on the legal frame, because on the legal, of course, we will count and it will be through the law firm. But besides the law firm, we will be able to assist on all the other details that are so important when someone moves to another country.
Mm.
I believe you know.
Yes,
that.
I mean, based on my own experience, most of the time when I reach out to lawyers, the service, of course, it gets things done, but there's a lot of questions that, you know, they either say like, oh, no, you know, this, if you want more time to talk, that's extra charges, or, you know, well, they tell you you either have the paperwork or you don't. And then all the decision making, you know, and resolving all those questions that you have, whether it's a good decision, whether it fits your particular case or not, you have to solve them. And then you have to spend hours and hours and weeks researching on Google, and information is inaccurate or is outdated. So personally, I see the value of having a one-stop shop where those questions can be tailored to my case, and the answers can be tailored to my case.
Exactly, that's the idea.
Yes.
That's absolutely the idea of this new consultancy company, and the name is SJF and SJF Immigration and Investments, and because it will have the immigration and the investments, but also the concierge services that are related to all the immigration. I'm passionate about the immigration because it's about people.
I mean, I just got the D7, right? Mm-hmm. But if I was going through the process again, that would be the kind of service that I would expect to get from lawyers. But then through experience, you know that usually that's not the full service.
That's not the
right?
full service. Because it's not part. There are parts that are not necessarily legal.
But it's very necessary.
It's so necessary. And
yeah, I could
so
have
helpful.
saved many hours of searching through old Facebook posts if I had something like that.
I hope we will be. I feel it's like a mission,
Mhm.
truly. And I'm very enthused, and we have with us an international team actually
exciting.
working with us from India, from Egypt, from US,
Mhm.
and yourself, you also
Yeah.
helping us, assisting us. So I do believe in the success of this project,
Mhm.
and it's the right time.
It's exciting. And I guess if we forgot to mention anything, or there's anybody out there that has a specific question, they can just write it down there and we'll try to read as many as we can and probably answer in the next video.
Yeah, yes,
Mhm.
correct. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sandra.
Bernard, for all your time.
Thank you for watching.
And thank you.